question.
Daiichi Sankyo's acquisition of Ranbaxy has enabled her to connect between the innovative drug market and the generic drug market. However, issues from Ranbaxy has impeded her growth. What can Daiichi Sankyo do differently in improving her immune system in moving forward? Good morning, everyone. My name is Zheng, and together with me, I have my colleagues Yu Xing, Tony, and Xiu Ming. We are Impact Consulting, and we're excited to present to you the way moving forward for Daiichi Sankyo.
Daiichi Sankyo is founded as a Japanese innovator drug company in 2005. In 2008, it acquired Ranbaxy, India's largest generic drug company. This acquisition shows Daiichi Sankyo's movement to mitigate the impact of the patent cliff. So what is the patent cliff? Daiichi Sankyo, as an innovator drug company, has control over the innovator drug until the end of the patent period. At the end of the patent period, which is the patent cliff, there will be a large influx of generic medicine providers, and hence this will result in Daiichi Sankyo's revenue base being highly threatened. Therefore, as a strategic acquisition, Daiichi Sankyo has moved towards the innovator generics hybrid model. In 2010, 18% of the total revenue actually comes from generic drug, and the initial signs of success can be seen from a 4% CAGR revenue growth. Looking forward, there are three key issues that Daiichi Sankyo will have to overcome. Firstly, if you will look at the chart on my right, you'll notice that there's increased R&D costs required and less results being seen. This is actually indicative of the decline in productivity for the innovator drug industry as a whole. Therefore, for Daiichi Sankyo, which key business segment is the innovator drug segment, Daiichi Sankyo should increase productivity in its core business segment. Secondly, United States, which is the generic drug core market, is facing firstly stringent FDA standards, resulting in higher possibility of meeting legislation's red tape, and secondly, increased power of buyers, resulting in pricing pressure on drug firms. Therefore, Daiichi Sankyo should explore other growth options outside of the United States. Lastly, the envisaged hybrid business model is such that synergies can be brought about by taking advantage of the strengths of both Daiichi Sankyo and Ranbaxy. However, our team notes that Daiichi Sankyo has not achieved anticipated synergies with Ranbaxy to date. Our team notes also that seamless integration of Ranbaxy into Daiichi Sankyo is required to support global business progress. Therefore, Daiichi Sankyo should drive integration with Ranbaxy. Therefore, with these three key issues in mind, our team recommends the Daiichi Sankyo's winning formula to enhance, expand, and evolve. This winning formula will allow Daiichi Sankyo to achieve sustainable growth in mature markets, accelerated expansion in emerging markets, and the movement towards the envisaged hybrid model by 2016.
So the first winning formula is we want to further strengthen our current foothold in the innovator industry. Essentially, we want to enhance the research and development capability of the Daiichi Sankyo. Looking at the current situation, we realize that the R&D segment is actually a major activity for Daiichi Sankyo. This can be seen by how R&D takes up more than 85% of the time needed to get the product into the market. And this also accounts for more than 20.1% of our current expenditure. However, this major activity is facing a decline, as can be seen by how the number of new biologics approved is declining despite of the fact that there's an increase in expenditure. Hence, we see that R&D efforts are currently having a fairly low yield. As such, we see that there's a need for us to further improve and optimize our R&D effort to increase efficiency and productivity. So we have taken a look at the pharmaceutical R&D process, and we realized that in the initial stage, there is a high risk of failure at the early stage of the R&D. This can be seen by how the success rate is very low at the early stages of 2.5 and 2%. However, subsequently, this success rate actually increases exponentially. This can be seen by how there's a much lower risk of failure at the late stage of R&D, ranging from 40% to higher. And as such, what we propose for Daiichi Sankyo to do is for you to optimize your R&D by moving away from high-risk early-stage R&D and instead focus more on our resources on the higher late-stage development. So one case study of how a pharmaceutical company has been able to outsource part of its R&D is actually Pfizer. Pfizer is an American global pharmaceutical company, and they form strategic alliances with small companies in order to increase the productivity of its research. So the benefits of these strategic alliances are clear. The Pfizer was able to increase the efficiency significantly, up to 30%, and save time by reducing the cycle time by 45%, and concurrently, we optimize hiring costs. So we propose that similarly, Daiichi Sankyo can increase productivity by leveraging on the biotech startups and research centers. So how are we going to go about doing this? So we propose that Daiichi Sankyo should go with the strategy licensing, whereby we'll be able to leverage on third parties' versatility and innovation. So firstly, we'll be able to establish the key criteria of the partners that we'll be selecting, and after that, we'll have a licensing manager who will actively look out for potential partners and also partner with them through the possible channels. And after which, we'll also be looking at how we can license and also acquire these products by means of royalty. We recognize that royalty is actually a very common procedure in the biotech industry, whereby different companies will actually buy each other's proprietary biotechnology molecule. And last but not least, we can further develop this biomolecule and focus our resources on the late stage development, whereby we're able to leverage on our core competency in the innovator drug segment. So the benefits of this strategy is clear. We'll be able to reduce the cycle time and at the same time reduction in the yearly R&D expenditure, in all achieving our aim of a sustainable development in the long run through enhancing our R&D development.
Next part of our winning formula is to expand, which is to diversify the risk of generic drugs. And this can be done by leveraging onto the accelerated expansion of emerging markets. And so we acknowledge that the existing US operations in Ranbaxy is currently being affected by the FDA regulations violation, and this has resulted in FDA halting the sales of pharmaceutical formulations as well as APIs. And we also acknowledge that there are existing combative measures taken for this supply chain disruptions as shown on the screen above. However, even though we acknowledge that there is concerted efforts to deal with these problems, we must acknowledge that it's impossible to know when this turnaround with FDA will come to. And so, we realize that it is beyond our control to mitigate the issue of the FDA standards violations. And we realize that the more important thing moving forward is to strengthen our presence in the existing markets. And so, we look at our current product offerings, and we realize that tapping into the potential of rural markets can enable us to strengthen our foothold in the existing markets. And so, the opportunity of rural markets is that in the demand side, there's a growing healthcare market in terms of global healthcare expenditure increasing rapidly for emerging markets, as shown on the graph above, as well as for rural pharmaceutical industry is aiming to reach a CAGR of 15 to 20% by 2020, and also because less than 20% of people living in a rural area has access to medication, this is a huge market that Ranbaxy can tap on. And in terms of supply side, there's a problem of the last mile, in which medicine is dispensed to retailers and hospitals. However, for people who do not have access to these places, they might not be able to get the end products of such medicines. And in terms of competition, Ranbaxy's competitors currently do not have a very fixed or differentiating model in order to enter these rural areas. And so we feel that rural areas in the emerging market has a huge potential that Ranbaxy can leverage on. And before we go into how Ranbaxy can enter into these markets, we'll look at a case study of Coca-Cola, which is called the Project Last Mile. And the purpose of this project is in order to assist the African government in obtaining vital medicine, and as well as fulfill the last mile in terms of reaching the harder to reach destinations. And what Coca-Cola can do is doing in this is that they are providing the transport trucks with good storage system in order to deliver vaccines and medicine to these rural areas, and they are also distributing these supplies in more concentrated areas like community centers where it's easier for gathering. And this has received a huge success. And so we realized that creating a channel for delivery systems and an additional channel to deliver drugs to rural areas is what we can do in order to reach out to more consumers. And so we introduced the use of Ranbaxy 8, which is a mobile medical van in collaboration between Ranbaxy's medical representatives as well as doctors from local hospitals. And the two main benefits is that it can increase the outreach of over-the-counter and prescription drugs produced by Ranbaxy, and it can also ensure the safer usage of medicine and based on the prescriptions given by doctors during consultations. And now I'll go into the specifics of Ranbaxy. So the personnel required will involve one driver and as well as two medical representatives, and finally a doctor to prescribe drugs. And for the operations of the vans, it will distribute the supplies in areas such as community centers or the village leaders' houses, which facilitates easier gathering of people who require medical attention. And the way it works is that it will visit a particular district for at least 8 days per month. And the 8 vans will be required for each city, and they will rotate around each district to ensure that each district is covered twice a month. And so we will now prioritize the countries in order to roll out these initiatives, and that is based on 3 main criteria. First is the countries that Ranbaxy currently has presence in, next the rural population, and finally the market for generic drugs growth. And we narrow it down to India, South Africa, and Brazil. And so the expansion plans goes accordingly with 3 main phases, with the first 2 phases going to the India Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities because Ranbaxy currently has a strong presence in the Indian market, and this will ensure the easier transition into the rural areas. And the final phase will involve going into areas like South Africa and Brazil in order to capture their rural market. And so the impact of our expand strategy is clear. It will reach a CAGR of 73.2% and increase the top line growth.
And lastly, evolving the hybrid business model. So, in order to achieve this target, Daiichi Sankyo has already established a synergy office aimed to provide direction to extract maximum value from these business units from both companies. And we note that there are 3 areas where the company can look into in reaping greater synergies. So let's first take a look at the research and development. So Daiichi Sankyo already has a global R&D technology network that already specializes in various medical fields, from oncology to cardiovascular metabolics. And what we can do here would be to incorporate Ranbaxy's R&D facilities in the generic drug sector and combine them into our network to further spur the development and R&D efforts for both innovative drugs and generic drugs. And how the Synergy Office can play a part in this would be to organize a global research summit to perhaps consolidate our findings from both the areas, and as well as to spearhead and coordinate any R&D efforts from these various units. Next, quality management and assurance. And we note that there is a serious issue in the Ranbaxy business. And what Ranbaxy can do would be to tap into our core competency of improved business processes to ensure that we have sufficient quality. So what Ranbaxy can look into would be to tap into process analytics, for example, to ensure that their production process can be tracked accordingly. And second would be to build up a business-wide risk management plan. And lastly, to ensure that safety standards are communicated across the business units to ensure that there be an integrated pharmacovigilance system. This will act as a fail-safe for Ranbaxy to ensure that there's a quality check in place. And lastly, supply chain, sales, and marketing. So we note that Daiichi has a very complex medical representative cross-wise system that they can tap on to leverage on to get into high quality information and reliable information. So what Ranbaxy can do would be to incorporate a similar structure in ensuring that the sales representatives will be split into 2 main areas: facilities and domain. So what the facility sales representative would do would be to communicate with the medical facilities and local people to better understand what the market needs and how we can adjust our product offering accordingly. And on the other hand, the domain people will focus on the distribution through the appropriate channels and also to provide information on the specific types of medical information that the customer needs. And in further improving our supply chain, we can leverage on Ranbaxy's international network and local knowledge to reach out to a greater outreach of a target audience and also to ensure a top quality service. So, how does this translate to numbers? We are confident that Daiichi's revenue will witness a base case 4.9% CAGR increase expected in 2016 with this through reaping of synergies. And in conclusion, with our three recommendations in place, we are confident that Daiichi will witness a revenue CAGR growth of 6.6% in the next 5 years. In conclusion, Daiichi Sankyo has been presented with 3 key issues that has been impeding in her growth, and we are confident that with our winning formula of evolve, expand, and enhance, Daiichi Sankyo will be able to achieve its targets of sustainable growth in mature markets, accelerated expansion in emerging markets, and lastly, envisage hybrid model. We thank you for your time. Let me now open the floor to any questions.
Can I ask a question about your first strategy? You talked about partnering with small biotech startups and research centers to gain access to a larger pipeline of later stage projects. Could you explain why they want to hand over these later stage projects to you, given that the returns from patent drugs can be very, very high? Yeah.
With regards to partnership with the small businesses, we have recognized that in the past, Pfizer has already done so, and we see that the potential here is that for the small companies, they actually need the funding, and from these licensing partnerships, they'll be able to get the fund that they need to actually grow further. And at the same time, the royalty itself is actually very profitable for the small companies. For example, for Pfizer, one of the small companies that it has partnered with is able to gain more than $6 million US dollars in revenue subsequently after it gets to the market. And they see it as a recurring stream of revenue, and that's why they would like to partner with us.
Have you identified any potential partners that you can go to?
Can we go to slide 27, please? So we have identified some notable startups, especially in Japan, and those 2 are notable labs, and we'll combine. And we will evaluate our possible partners based on these 4 criteria from the Asia Pacific Biotech Guidelines. And these are quality of the opportunity, strategic fit, and competitiveness, and also feasibility. And we'll be evaluating based on what we are currently focusing on. For example, if we are focusing on oncology, then we'll be looking for a startup that may have like synergies with the oncology segment.
I have another question regarding the second recommendation regarding Ranbaxy 8. Now, obviously, this company is not really involved in what you call distributing the drugs to end consumers. They just create the drugs, manufacture the drugs, and then you get in touch with the doctors when you try to sell the drugs. The doctors get them to recommend usage of the drugs. But what you're suggesting is probably not going to be within the core competencies of the company itself. This involves setting up a distribution channel, and not just delivering the medication, but getting doctors to be involved. I would like to know why did you go, select this particular recommendation as opposed to, let's say, working with another company to set up some distribution systems to enable access to drugs in these rural markets. I mean, why get Ranbaxy to be involved in this particular operation as opposed to outsourcing? Is that better?
Okay, thank you for your question. Can we go to slide 37, please? One more slide. Yeah. So basically, Ranbaxy is not going to take up the role in terms of distributing the channels, but they are just spearheading this entire program. So basically, we will be working with hospitals and also local logistics companies who have much more expertise in terms of transportation networks within the rural areas. And so from there, they will be able to help us, assist us in terms of delivering the medical supplies, and we will obtain help from local hospitals to maybe get a few doctors to help us out in terms of our Ranbaxy 8 program.
Okay, so you're working with some hospitals,
Yeah,
and
because
a transport company?
it's actually a project that is spearheaded by us that will provide them with our drugs. However, in terms of things like doctors and transport, we don't exactly have expertise in it because we only have medical representatives. So all these people can be we can get the help from these people from like hospitals and logistical companies through like paying them a certain sum of money in terms of helping us in these projects.
Okay. Can you tell me the potential benefits? I mean, what is the quantifiable benefits of this particular program?
Can you go to slide number 15 for the financial impact? Number 20. Sorry. Okay, so expansion into the rural areas will boost top line directly because we are able to reach out to much more customers. So I can run you through the key assumptions for the top line results, which is that one tier 2 city actually has 75,000 population and 50% of the population use this service. This 50% is actually a proxy for the result of WHO operations where they did a very similar project. Then following which, we assume a total of $30 per year per individual for both consultancy and drug fees combined spend per year. So with this in mind, we are able to achieve a total of 102.6 billion JPY sales by 2016.
So this is the revenues part of it.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
the
Do you know
revenue
what's the
part.
impact on the bottom line?
The impact on the bottom line, so the expansion into rural areas will actually incur expenditures. So in order to attain the expenditures, we have broken it down into various segments such as cost of vans, yearly maintenance of vans, as well as workers needed to actually operate the vans. So for the vans, we assume a total of 8 vans per city that will be required, and the investment will be 3.9 million yen per van, and this is taken from the WHO operations, the cost it takes to create a van that is specially tailored to what we want to do. And the yearly maintenance is estimated at 1 million per van, and the headcount per van will be 0.3 million worth for 4 people. So in total, it will incur around roughly 1,000 million JPY worth of expenditure, which is roughly about 1 billion.
Okay, so this is a bit inconsistent with what I gathered earlier on, because you said that you're going to collaborate with transport companies, which means that you don't need to incur any capital expenditures for vans or maintenance of vans or workers as well. Like, I don't really quite get it. I mean, what is it that you guys are doing? Are you investing in vans to set up a distribution system, or are you working with transport companies to get your trucks out there? Number two, the revenues itself, I'm a bit puzzled. So you are collecting money from the patients in the rural areas.
Yeah.
Okay, now you know that this is an entirely different business model, right? From
Yeah.
what Roxy is currently doing. Okay, so it seems to be a lot more complicated than what I initially thought. Can you kind of clarify what exactly are you guys doing?
Okay,
This
so
what Roxy did.
Okay, so in the van, there will be 4 people. One will be the driver. Two.
Okay, can you, before you get to the
Okay.
specific details,
Okay.
are you telling me that you're investing in vans, in your own vans, or are you collaborating with transport companies? Because there's an inconsistency in the information that I've got.
Okay, so basically we'll be working with the transport companies in terms of getting the vans. So in terms of acquiring their services and getting drivers, we also need to pay them a sizable amount of money. And because these vans will be used by us in terms of going to the different villages, and we need it for quite a period of time. So we are working with them to obtain the vans as well as like the transportation network to navigate around the rural areas. So that will incur the cost as mentioned here.
I'm sorry, can you
Okay,
please
so-
say that so what's the role then?
Okay, so we'll be working with the rural logistical companies. So we'll get like their vans,
and also get like the navigation routes around like all the rural areas and acquire the help of their drivers. So that's how we will be navigating through the rural areas to provide our like medicine to all of them. So that will be the reason why we are incurring costs in this segment.
So the drivers will be on your payroll.
Yeah, on our payroll.
And the vans belong to you.
We'll just get the vans from them.
Get the van. What do you mean by get the van?
Like in terms of like rental of the vans and the usage of the vans. Yeah, so we'll like rent it on the long term to use all of this. So there will be cost incurred when it comes to them.
So why not totally just outsource this part of the business? I mean, this part of the operations to the transport company. Why do you need to rent vans from your collaborator? Why do you need to get the drivers to your table? Why complicate matters?
I guess.
When it comes to the outsourcing, we see that when we outsource totally, we'll be able to lose control of what is currently we are doing in the rural areas. And we see that we actually need to have expertise also when it comes down to dispensing the medicine, and also having our staff on the ground to actually see what we need in the rural areas exactly. Because we have a wide range of variety of drugs, and at the same time, we also want to optimize the drugs that we bring to these rural areas. So we'll be having our own staff in this aid thing, and after that we will then, in the sense, outsourcing will not allow us to have this control of the operations.
I understand that point, but I understand the point about needing some kind of medical expertise on the ground, but medical expertise do not come in the form of drivers, right? We are talking about drivers, we're talking about vans. These are not the core competencies of the policy. So you want to outsource activities that are not your core competency, because these are out of your main business model, out of your main business scope. So again, I'm not entirely sure, whether this is something that you want the company to get involved in. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think that you need to go down to this level of involvement in terms of renting vans and hiring drivers. I think these are things that you can probably outsource. Now, the other part that I would like some clarification on is, so revenues will be collected from the patients in the rural areas. Can you just kind of explain to me how this is going to work?
Okay, so for the van, we'll be providing consultancy services, and the other part of it would be dispensing the medicine after the consultancy services. So after going through the consultancy services and receiving medicine from our firm, the individual will then be required to pay an amount to pay for these services. So it's actually paying for it. But $30 per year per individual is actually quite a low sum for generic medicine as well as for consultancy services, and we take note that this is so because of how the rural areas might have less capability to pay for very expensive medicine such as innovative medicine. So therefore we are pushing out the generic medicine there.
Do you have a case study of this, of other pharmaceutical companies that actually implemented such a system and then it works for them?
So I'm able to find a case study from Okay, so for the World Health Organization, even though it's not entirely for profit, it shows how such a system can actually be useful in dispensing medicine out and how the rural people are actually receptive to receiving such medicine from this kind of means. So for this World Health Organization, what they did was to establish trucks in the rural villages, and what they did was actually the rural villagers can just go to the trucks and they'll provide consultancy services as well as dispense medicine for them. So it's entirely effective, and there was a roughly 45% take-up rate, and with only 6 clinics per city. So we believe that with 8 vans per city, we are able to be even more successful than them.
Okay, I personally like the idea But I think I like the idea from the perspective of, let's say, corporate social responsibility. You're doing something, giving back to the community and all that. But the way it's positioned is like this is something which would help Roboxy to make, or rather Daiichi, right? This is Roboxy, okay, to make billions, right? Say, billions of yen. In Japanese yen, yeah. Billions in Japanese, which is, it's still billions, it's still a lot. As a profit model, I'm not entirely sure that it's really going to be that workable. But from a sustainability perspective, I think it's doable. Okay.
Actually, from a profitability perspective, can you go back to slide 31? Given that you are selling generic drugs, whose profit margin is only about 10%, you didn't really take into account the cost of the goods. So, in fact, I've understated the expenditure by a very huge margin. So, can you please do a quick math check and see if this can still generate as much profit as or would it be a loss instead?
So for the expenditure, I believe that this expenditure does not actually take into account of the cost of goods sold. And so if we were to take into account the cost of goods sold, we will need to take into account which part of the $30 is actually from the drug sale. So if we assume that $15 is from consultancy and $15 from drug sale, it will result in roughly $1.50 profit for $1.50 profit per individual just for drug sale. But combined with the consultancy service, it will actually be $16.50 per individual. So I believe that it will still be profitable because of how the expenditure is currently now about 1 billion, even at 2016, whereas the revenue is actually at 102.6 billion at 2016. So for the profitability, perhaps it will be around 40 billion after taking into account the cost of goods sold.
So the top line is 100 billion, and the bottom line is 1 billion.
Yeah, because it does not take into account the cost of goods sold.
That's still huge.
Will you run us through how you went about selecting some countries for this expansion? Apart from, I know you look at growth, right? But apart from that, was there any other analysis on competitors or regulations?
Okay, in terms of choosing, you mean the cities like India, South Africa, and Brazil? Okay, so can we go to slide 32? 31, sorry. Yeah, so actually, the most important part of how we choose these countries is based on the population as well as the CAGR. Because in terms of rural population, if their country is has a lot of rural people staying in the villages, then it also means that their accessibility to healthcare might be slightly compromised. So that is quite an important factor in terms of choosing which country we should go into. And CAGR is still very important because in terms of the pharmaceutical markets, we realize that emerging markets has a very huge growth potential. So in terms of countries like the BRICS, and it includes Brazil, South Africa, and India, they actually can generate a lot of CAGR, which will be very beneficial when it comes into rolling out all these initiatives. Yeah. And in terms of competitors, because right now we are positioned as quite a strong competitor in the market of generic drugs. So I think that will not be a problem. And as well as in terms of entering into the rural areas, a lot of pharmaceutical companies are not really focusing on finding a distribution model into entering these rural areas. So if you are able to leverage on that and develop a very strong distribution model in terms of using the vans to go into providing medical services, then that will set us apart from our competitors in these countries.
So in addition to add on to my colleague's point about the government regulation, we see that government has been very supportive on the generic drugs expansion, especially as can be seen by the case study of WHO. So we believe that they will be supportive to this to support us also. And at the same time, we believe that through the following points that my colleague has mentioned, our expansion strategy will be very visible.
Okay, so another question on your evolve strategy, right? I like how you talk about top line growth, but importantly, when we do that M&A, we are also interested in the cost saving synergy synergies? Do you have any numbers to quantify?
Okay, so for the cost saving synergies, because the cost savings, can we go to the implementation timeline? So we noted that there are different areas that we would like to tackle for the evolved strategy. And if I may draw your attention to the implementation timeline, what we'll actually be focusing on from 2012 to 2016 is actually first the integration managers, which is to build up the synergy office and to ensure the integration of all the staff, and also secondly the assurance of quality services, and lastly quality control, and lastly also the delivery system, like the training of how people actually communicate with the end users, and this is through training. So we know that these two segments, which is distribution as well as quality control, these two are actually more focused on the top line rather than bottom line. And we believe that the bottom line effect will only come in much later after 2016, because, like, take for example R&D, which will directly impact the bottom line, is a process that takes very, very long. So in the near future, the cost saving synergies will not kick in yet, and what we'll be seeing is the top line synergies for now.
That's a question on expense strategy. So your van will drive into tier 2 and tier 3 cities in India.
Yeah, that is the plan. As in when they choose to go into the districts, then they will drive into the main area of gathering, maybe the community center or the center of the village, which is the village head's house. So the van will be there, and then they will provide services, for example, in the morning during the weekdays, and then after a certain period, they will rotate around to other districts.
But tier 2 cities, they are quite developed, right?
Yeah, tier 2 cities are rather developed, but there's still certain rural parts that are still developing. Because right now, even though they are all progressing towards like having better infrastructure than the tier 1 cities, there are still certain parts that are still rather underdeveloped that can still be worked on in terms of our vans entering to those areas to assist them. Because right now, actually, Rambaxi has this strategy in terms of reaching out to areas with bigger populations and to reach out to them and to give them medicine. So our strategy adds on to that in terms of targeting the tier 2 cities, because most of what Rambaxi is doing now is probably targeting the tier 1 cities. So we want to cover all grounds in terms of that.
So currently, how to choose India, right? Tier 2, tier 3 cities. Will you roughly tell me how patients, people who are sick in these cities currently go to get medication, and tell me how that is different, and also tell me how that you mentioned earlier in the Q&A that you're going to partner with healthcare providers. So where does that come in? Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for your question. I believe that right now, in terms of providing medication, there are certain organizations like NPOs who might go over to the rural areas in terms of providing such healthcare services, but it does not cover such a huge area. And there might be some instances where they might go to the limited clinics available in terms of getting the medication, and some might just remain untreated in terms of their medication. Yeah, so in terms of the disease. So there are several groups of people, but I also ensure that they will cover all grounds so that they will have access to the medicine like closer to their houses, and they don't have to spend so much time traveling or even neglecting their health because they don't have access to the medicine. And in terms of working with the hospitals, because we are planning to include it as maybe a CSR program to cater to acquire the help of the doctors to be in the vans, so that it can be part of their community service program and all that in terms of reaching out to the rural areas. But if in the case where the hospitals might not have sufficient manpower, we are thinking of maybe just acquiring their help in terms of incentives and payments. And also, if a hospital decides to work with us, and as a very big pharma company, they might achieve quite good media coverage in terms of reaching out to the rural areas.
It seems here that you all want to capture the potential potential of developing markets and possibly gain a first mover advantage. So I guess with this new business model, which is quite resource heavy, do you think that? I have two questions. So who are your other potential competitors, and how do you think you can beat them? Given that this seems to be this kind of strategy seems to be biased towards those that are larger and have more resources.
With regards to that question, the company that we are currently talking about is actually the biggest pharmaceutical company in India itself, and we believe that in terms of resources, we'll have more advantage as compared to our competitors. And when it comes down to more companies actually going to the rural areas, we see that this is something that, as you mentioned before, is quite resource heavy, which is why there is a high barrier for entry, which is why we believe that it's not easily replicable to other small pharmaceutical companies. Hence, we believe that through this strategy, we'll be able to firstly reach out to more people, and at the same time, we'll be able to gain the first mover advantage to the rural areas.
Can you give me an example of the competitors? Based on my knowledge, the pharmaceutical industry is undergoing a stage of consolidation. So the rise of large players, there are definitely a few large players within the industry. Will you show me some competitors or tell me more about the market structure of the pharmaceutical industry?
The market structure of the pharmaceutical industry in India is actually quite fragmented. In the sense that
globally, right? I guess.
Yes. Yeah. And in India itself, we are actually the leading player. When it comes up to other competitors, we see that there's a significant difference from our market share and the second one. However, we are unable to give you more information about the name because we didn't include them into the supporting them.
And may I add on? Because right now, Ranbaxy is one of the biggest providers in terms of generic drugs. But in terms of the bigger players globally, they are like Baxter, Abbott, all those, and they mostly provide not the patented drugs. So in terms of that, I think we'll be more suited in terms of providing generic drugs in India.
Okay, so I will turn. Can I see the financial side or expense?
Very good to run out of
Oh yeah, so you assume that 50% of the population in the rural countries will use the service.
Yeah.
Right. This is based on the WHO. So the WHO operations were free, right? You are charging a fee this time. And so, how confident are you that you achieve the similar uptake rate? Since, to my knowledge, actually, in rural areas, that monthly income is easily doesn't reach 100 USD, and 30 USD per individual is actually a sizable proportion of their income. So, would you still stick to the 50% uptake rate?
Okay, I understand your concerns with regards to WHO operations being an NPO and thus providing free services. And therefore, we have talked it down a little bit from the WHO operations results. So the WHO operations actually had 6 bands, and they were able to reach out to about 45% of the population. And therefore, we are increasing it to 8 bands, and therefore we believe we are able to reach out to 50% of the population, and this will be a bit toned down. As for the cost, it's actually, even though one run is around $100 USD, but this is $30 per year. So per month is still about $2 plus. So I believe that if for basic necessity healthcare, you'll be willing to spend this amount.
So you're saying that for consultations, you only charge around a few dollars for each time. Because if I'm not wrong, it's like usually for medical expenses, it's a one-off lump sum, and people might not be able to afford to give up that lump sum at a specific point in time.
Yes, $30 per year per individual. That's with the assumption that the individual actually goes to the band twice a year. So they'll be around $15 USD. And if their average monthly is around 100 USD and they are really in need of medical help, I believe that they will be able to consider that. And I think the firm can also look towards perhaps maybe allowing them to maybe stagger the payments. I believe that is something that the firm can actually look into with regards to this.
So yeah, for your expense strategy, I see the potential in the rural area. However, the problem with the rural area is that it's very sparse, it's very dispersed, and reaching 50% of it is practically impossible with just 8 vans in the city. Take for example, Unilever, its distribution in rural area, they are only able, with all the marks and pop shops, we are only able to hit about 10 to 15% of the entire rural population. How confident are you in hitting that 50% as you promised in your financials?
Okay, so the thing about our van, as compared to the mom and pop shops, is that our van can move around, and that's what we'll be allowing the vans to do, to travel around the different areas of the city, such as to reach out to more individuals. As for it will be able to reach out to more individuals because the vans will be able to travel around.
Yeah, and to add on, because the vans will be going into 5 cities at a time, like there will be phases in which the vans will provide services to the rural areas. So it's not exactly one entire area, like we'll go into all the cities at once. So the coverage might be lesser in terms of that. But if we go like bit by bit in terms of the different districts, then the coverage might be higher.
And in addition, can we direct ourselves to slide 22? So for our implementation timeline, we see that for our expense strategy, we'll be looking at logistic preparation and field study of the location. So we'll be able to further plan our current routes to better efficiently cover more areas. Hence, we believe that by doing this field study first before actually going into the field itself, we'll be able to, we are confident that we'll be able to achieve the 50% number.
I would like some clarification regarding the org strategy. Can you tell me, because it was towards the end, the end of the presentation, and class, can you tell me which operations have you decided to localize, and which operations have you decided to kind of manage on a global basis? So this is in context of them being able to execute a hybrid model.
Perhaps with regards to the globalizing aspect, we will be looking more towards the R&D efforts. We are trying to try and consolidate their efforts on a global basis and try and engage them as an entire network of subsidiaries to kind of like share their pool of knowledge along with each other to understand more about how we can reverse engineer, because Ranbaxi's R&D facilities are mainly looking towards the generic drug development, and this is something different from what they're doing in the innovative drug development, because they are looking more towards reverse engineering and also finding ways of how to create like different types of dosage forms to help to kind of like complement this innovative drug development sector. So perhaps for the research and development phase will be more towards the global end, but localizing will be more towards the quality management as well as the supply chain, sales and marketing, where quality management assurance, because it's more specific towards the Ranbaxi's plants, because they are right now facing several issues from the FDA, and what we're trying to do is to try and incorporate a list of a process so that steps they can take to kind of mitigate these issues. So in a sense, it's acting like a fail-safe to make sure that they are going through all these quality checks to ensure that they are meeting at least a minimum standard. And for the supply chain and sales marketing, because we are looking more towards like a tailored approach in terms of engaging our sales and engaging our sales team as well as expanding through our network. So it will be more towards on the localized end.
Okay. It sounds like the quality management and assurance part of the recommendation, that doesn't sound like a localized plan. It sounds like you're trying to implement some kind of standard practice across all the different operations of the company. That is not localization, right? That is more globalization, or more like having a global approach to certain processes. Can you clarify that point?
Yeah, with regards to the quality control, we see that different plants essentially produce specialized in different facilities, and we believe that firstly, what we want to do is to actually send our integration manager down to see what is essentially needed. Because currently, what we have is that for quality control, we have a wide range of quality control machines and technologies, and we will be picking up those that are very relevant, and we'll be providing more and more tailored approach. So in the sense, we are providing more towards a local instead of a global as well.
So going back to the R&D part of the recommendation, I would imagine that there's a difference between developing innovative drugs as in new drugs to treat new diseases versus reverse engineering of current drugs, right? Current innovative drugs out there. But yet, in the answer to the question, it would seem that you are kind of promoting, putting these two operations or these two activities together under one global R&D center. Am I getting the right message, or do you have something else?
Right. In addressing your question, perhaps actually, well, the unique selling point of Ranbaxy's R&D facilities. So what Ranbaxy's R&D facilities emphasize mainly on being so Ranbaxy's R&D facilities mainly focus on this novel drug delivery systems. So they're trying to kind of innovate on, think of ways of how to vary the dosage forms in terms, because we know that some drugs they have a certain optimal concentration range they want to keep to, and there are some forms that they want to tweak to perhaps increase the efficacy of the drug. So we thought that it would be complementing the innovative drug research efforts in terms of this aspect, in terms of finding agents or to carry this active ingredient.
So you are suggesting that there's some complementary R&D efforts that both companies can probably leverage on. So Daiichi would probably be able to use Ranbaxy's research on NADS to kind of come up with more innovative ways of delivering new innovative drugs. That's what you're suggesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, these evolved strategies are basically about cost savings. I heard earlier on that one of the comments was that the benefits are more top-line driven, and then the cost saving will come later. Where is this top-line benefits from these evolved strategies?
Okay, so what we're actually going to focus on is actually the training for quality control and the training for marketing. So the training for quality control is the assurance of a global standard of quality control, whereas for the marketing is the implementation of the XY method of distribution. So for these two things, what they are actually going to do is to increase and improve the offerings of Daiichi. So what it's going to do is actually to increase and improve the offerings of Daiichi, and hence it will boost the top line. And it's because we are focusing on these two segments first, that's why the top line revenue synergies are being realized earlier. Whereas for the cost saving synergies will be in the later part, for instance for R&D and so on.
Okay, now this is very counterintuitive. In any acquisition whereby the objective is to achieve synergies, typically what happens is that cost savings comes first, and then revenues will come later. Cost savings are a lot more easier to determine because costs are incurred by the companies themselves, whereas revenues are a lot more difficult to predict because there's demand factors involved that is beyond your control. So I really don't see. I mean, you're making some very strong assumptions here. To say that the revenue benefits will actually come first. and then cost savings will come later. That is, I'm really just not convinced. Because if you're going to get any revenue benefits or top line benefits, that involves the company being able to come up with some new innovative drugs or some new generics. And we know that takes time. That takes years.
Yeah, that's definitely a very insightful point. So what we considered when we discussed this is that currently we have quality issues, which is why there are some approval by the FDA that are currently not being approved. So what we are looking at in the short term is essentially doing our quality control in making sure that we can accelerate this process in order to get more permissions from other FDA all around the world. So that's where we believe that we can get more of the top line. So for the cost savings, we believe that maybe we will also realize that in a small amount, like initially when during the training period, but we believe that it will be more significant in the long run.
What kind of cost savings are we looking at? Can you be more specific?
For the R&D efforts, our imagine cost savings to kill later. So for R&D efforts, we are able to go to the R&D 5 things like. So for RCI, for instance, it is located in India, and for the other firm is also located in India, and we are hoping to integrate these two research centers. So the cost savings that I would imagine from this would be one less required building that is required, and certain common overlaps in machineries that will result in certain cost savings. And this is all for the R&D segments, what the envisage the cost savings will be like.
Okay, but wouldn't these be the low-hanging fruits that we can pluck first, and that these cost savings will actually be realized a lot faster than revenue growth, right? I mean, you just said that, you just gave me the evidence to support my point that cost savings really comes first. To reduce headcount, reduce overheads, reduction of overlapping resources and all that.
Yes, definitely. But in terms of priority, the quality control problem at Rakkasan has resulted in them not getting a lot of FDA approvals, and hence resulting in a lot of their drugs being actually not approved to be sold in the US. So because of this actually has a very, very big impact on the top line revenue of the firm as a whole, and therefore we felt that this quality assurance issue is definitely something that we should address. And given our expand strategy of wanting to go into more markets, we also felt that the distribution side should also be focused on and be improved immediately. Whereas for the cost savings part, we felt that could still that has less priority as compared to these two items.
Okay, I have one last question with regards to the financials. I would like you to tell me, for the three different recommendations that you have, enhance, expand, and evolve, what is the impact on the bottom line? Right? Which one has the greatest impact? Can you rank them for me?
Okay, sure. Can we go to the 25? So for the expand and evolve strategy, the impact will actually be very limited as compared to the normal business as usual costs that will be incurred. So for the expand strategy, we'll expect about 1 billion to be incurred by 2016, and for the evolve strategy, we'll expect 0.25 billion to be incurred by 2016. And the nature of it being such a low cost is because we are
okay, you're not answering my question. I want to know the impact on the bottom line. I'm not interested in costs. I'm not interested in revenues. I want to know the impact on the profit.
Okay, so for the operating income, it will result in 260 billion by 2016.
For which strategy?
I've not broken down the profitability to different strategies, and this actually at the firm as a whole, including business as usual, the expand and evolve strategy.
Can you do a quick computation now for me? Take off the business as usual, and then allocate the operating income to the three different strategies that you're recommending. Rank them.
strategy will actually result in the profitability to not yet be so realized in the next 5 years, and therefore they will rank the lowest on the profitability side, because the R&D efforts will take some time to be realized. And next on the profitability, the second least profitable would be the evolve strategy, because for now we are just improving on training, and therefore the impact will definitely not be as great as selling our products to a new place. So the top most profitable strategy will definitely be the expand strategy, because we are reaching out to the rural areas, and we are reaching out to a lot more families and selling a lot more drugs, and also offering a higher value service of consultation. So therefore, in ranking, the most profitable would be expand, followed by evolve, followed by enhance.
Okay, so let's go with the expand. Can you tell me when will the profits start to come in?
The profits will start to come in from 2012, because for the expand strategy, the key additional cost that will be incurred is actually the COGS, which is the cost of selling more drugs. Whereas for the vans and the extra manpower, is expected to be roughly only about 0.4 billion at 2012. So because of that, we are able to witness profit from the first year of 2012.
Okay.
In terms of top line and bottom line, what's the historical growth rate and what is it of this structure?
Okay, so the historical growth rate for top line is actually 4%, whereas we are not able to really get a very accurate idea of the profitability, because it's positive and negative for some years and it's highly volatile. Therefore, a historical rate will not be very representative. So we can go to the overall financial side, 21. So with the implementation of these strategies, actually Daiichi will be able to achieve a 6.6% CAGR, an improvement from its 4.0% historical CAGR.
So margins improve as well?
Margins? Does margin? Yes, margins will improve as well, because for the expand strategy, our vans actually are a one-off investment as compared to perhaps renting a whole building and getting a lot of and reaching out to other people. There are a lot of cost savings that can be made. Therefore, I would imagine margins to be improved. Furthermore, for the
on that same note, just as you mentioned that you'll be renting the vehicles, right? So how is that a one-off expense?
Okay, so the renting would be for a long term.
Okay, we have time for one last question. Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much.
Get like 10 questions.
Okay, why don't you all take a seat? We can discuss. Why don't you take a seat in front? Just sit down. Yeah, you want to go for a toilet break? Okay, take a seat. Then we'll. But it's not recorded down. It's recorded, right? Hey, have you all been watching the videos, your own videos? I hope you
We haven't uploaded the second one last week.
Yeah.
You haven't uploaded.
Yeah.
Have you watched the first one?